So let's talk about the importance of awareness. But I had a really powerful conversation with a friend recently that was talking about motivation. And part of what he was realizing was a motivation for him were negative tactics, things that he was used to experiencing as a kid, like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you doing that? And we all have moments and maybe even lifetimes of negative motivation. I go to that place, like I decide I want to do something, I don't do it, and then I beat myself up for it, right? We all can relate to that pattern. Motivation can come from a number of different places, but again, we're talking about awareness. So my friend was saying, he had recently become aware that this was a habit. And until you have that gift of awareness, it is impossible for you to change. If you aren't aware that you're doing something, you're not conscious of it, there's no way that you can make a different decision. But if you do some of the work about awareness, bringing just that split second of catching yourself in a habit or catching yourself in a pattern, that gives you the freedom to make a different choice. So one of the tools that I use for building awareness is meditation. It's very simple. I try to take a few minutes a day in the morning, even just 5 minutes of sitting with a straight spine, closing my eyes and breathing with intention in through my nose and out through my mouth. That alone can bring greater awareness. Some other tools that I find really helpful in terms of shifting out of negative motivation into a more inspired motivation without relying on inspiration hitting you is something that I learned from a friend of mine. Her name's Erin Stutland. She's a fitness and health and life coach. And one of the tools that she uses is she makes a list of what it means to her. So if you have an action that you need to take or a project that you're trying to make happen, if there's something on your to-do list that you've been meaning to get to, but you've been procrastinating, and then you fall into that beating yourself up downward spiral of not doing it, Erin would suggest that you then say, okay, well, what does this mean to me? If I take this action, if I create this project, whatever it is on the to-do list, what does it mean to me? Well, it means freedom to me. It means taking my career into my own hands. It means investing in a project that I really believe in. It means joy. It means happiness, right? You get really clear about, if I do this thing, this is what it means to me underneath it. I find that to be a much more powerful motivational factor, because you're connecting with the higher part of yourself that has your best interests at heart, that is connected to something that you really value. Whereas the negative ego part of you is trying to maybe keep you stuck and keep you in a place that's comfortable but isn't necessarily serving you. You want to transcend that. So creating greater awareness is a tool to transcend that level of thinking. So again, meditation is a great one, journaling, that exercise that I shared with my friend Erin. When you have that awareness, and sometimes it literally is just a split second, it puts you into a place of freedom. Because when you're aware of what you're doing and you want to change it, you get the opportunity to choose again. So maybe not a video about marketing, but awareness is a really important tool that can help you move in the direction that you want in a much more pleasant, fulfilling way than that negative motivational factor, which ultimately is just going to keep you stuck.